Yo, what's up guys, it's Nick with Clutch Killers, and I'm finally putting an aftermarket exhaust on my Camaro. As some of you may know, I've had this car for about a year and a half, and it's been on the stock NPP or valve exhaust ever since. If you don't already know, the stock exhaust comes with valves so you can open and close them, make it louder and quieter. It's stock for the 1LE Camaros, it's an option on everything else. I've been pretty happy with the stock exhaust for the time that I've had this car, but I've always yearned for that deeper tone, that real V8 rumble that you don't get with the stock exhaust. But one stipulation of that is I always wanted to keep the valve functionality of this exhaust. I like being able to make it quieter when I want. I like being able to start it quiet when it's late at night or early in the morning, not piss off my neighbors. And aftermarket exhausts for a brand new V8 are already expensive, and then the aftermarket systems that support the valves are even more expensive. So you're looking at $2,100, $2,500 for things like Borla and Corsa. The reason I never did this sooner was because that figure just seemed a little too high for me. I couldn't justify spending $2.5 grand on an exhaust system. But recently I found out about Stainlessworks, and Stainlessworks makes an exhaust for this car that supports the valves. And Stainlessworks system is only $1,300. The one I got is $1,600 because it has the black polished tips, which I kind of like because it matches the whole theme of my car, being white with all black accents. And it's just an axle back, so what it does is it gets rid of that muffler resonator thing that looks like a briefcase in the back and replaces it with the aftermarket mufflers. So I'm gonna head to the shop, get this thing installed with my friend Joe. Once it's installed, I'm gonna do some sound clips, so you're gonna hear how it sounds in stealth mode and track mode, which means valves closed and valves open. And I'm gonna include back-to-back sound clips of when the car was stock, so you can really tell what the difference is with the aftermarket system. And then I'm gonna do a full review while I'm driving the car, just experiencing the exhaust and the tone it makes, and just give you guys my honest opinions and honest thoughts. How easy it is to daily, how loud is it what I expected, is it better than I expected? So stay tuned for all that. If you're enjoying this video, just like and subscribe, help your boy out. All right, so let's get to the shop. Put the new valve motors, the old valve motors on the new exhaust right here. You can see, these came off the old and went on the new. It's just a deburr. I don't know what that means. Can you Google search for deburr? Look at my hands. To just make it go on easier, that we should deburr these. This is like to smooth them out. You know what that means? I never heard that word before in my life. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying we have to get it. There we go.
Hours later.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm finally storing this away in case I ever sell this car. I want the next owner to be able to have the original parts, of course. So it literally looks like a briefcase. It's huge, it's heavy, definitely at least 30 pounds, I would say. So it's dropping a little bit of weight by getting rid of this, so it's a good thing. It's pretty cool how the valves work, how the electric motor controls them from the outside. I don't know, interesting design. What's going on, guys? So it's a beautiful day out today. It's 70 degrees and I'm finally gonna hear this thing start up cold with the valves open, with the new exhaust installed. So let's get right into it. Let's hear what this thing sounds like. Stainlessworks Redline axle back, cold start, valves open. All right, so we're gonna take her for the drive. Am I in stealth? I was in stealth. Let's hear that with track mode. Oh my God, it's loud. Yeah, it's louder. Wow. So I'm taking a drive just to hear what the exhaust sounds like, and so far I'm very pleased. I got the back seats down so I can hear it a little bit more in the cabin, and believe me, you hear this exhaust a lot more in the cabin. As you might have heard from the startup videos, it's not crazy louder than stock from outside the car until you start to rev it and give it gas. From inside the car though, it's constantly louder than stock. The low frequencies are no longer resonated like they are when it's stock and it has a stock metal briefcase in the back that's like a resonator muffler assembly. So all those low frequencies that the engine produces, you're getting all of that inside the cabin. 1,000 to 1,500 RPM is so bassy. Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Those burbles are like insane. What used to be like pops and crackles before with the stock exhaust has turned into like just full-on rumble. Like it's so much bassier. That's the thing with the pops now. Yes, it pops more, but the pops are also so much bassier. Like they're so much deeper in tone. All right, so I'm gonna open it up over here. See, they just keep going. They're like insane. All right, as soon as I cross, okay, get out of the road, squirrel, please. Oh my God, he dropped it to nut and it wouldn't run out of the road until it picked it back up. That was great. Just nuts, dude. Constant. All right, here we go. And that's a police officer right there. Is he gonna do the old spin around? Okay, he can't see me anymore. We out. Windows down. Woo! God damn. Stupid loud once you get it up in the high RPMs. And this is just an axle back. If you want to go the extra step, I can. The pops are louder than my voice. If you want to go the extra mile and you want to get a full X pipe or an H pipe, do some secondary cat deletes, headers, whatever it may be, you can get this car to sound insanely good and be, quite honestly, a little too loud at that point. All right, so let's talk about drone. So I have sunroof closed, windows up. Backseat is still down because I always ride with the backseat down. So let's talk about the drone. I ride under 2,000 RPM. The frequencies do resonate a lot with the car and you do hear it. And if you're on the highway in like 5th gear or 6th gear and you're just like holding it at right around like 2,000 RPM, oh god, train tracks, oh Jesus. If you're holding it right around 2,000 RPM, or somewhere in that range, you're going to hear drone to an extent. It's nothing crazy. Like, it's not going to be too loud to hear your music or too loud to have a conversation. It's not going to give you a headache, but it's there. Like, it's noticeable. Like, it's obviously a little bit louder than the stock system at those RPMs. A lot louder, actually. The stock system does a really good job, even with the valves open, of muting the exhaust at those low RPMs. This exhaust says, screw that, just let it sing. And if you're asking me, I personally don't think it's too much. Of course, I'm biased because I like loud cars. I like being able to hear it, and even a little bit of drone wouldn't bother me. But it's not like stupid. Like, it's not like just in your face. Like, that's all you hear. You can't have a conversation. It's nothing like that. Hopefully, you guys can tell that while it is louder in here, I can still talk to you guys and you can still understand me. So it's nothing crazy, nothing unbearable. And this is with the valves open. You can close the valves if you want, and it'll take care of that. Like, I'll close them right now. So yes, with the valves closed like they are right now, it's louder than stealth mode is stock for sure, but it's quieter than track mode by a pretty good margin. So your track mode gets considerably louder, depending what you're doing. You know, obviously if you're just idling, it's not crazy louder, but it's gonna be louder if you're getting on it, if you're under a tunnel, stuff like that. But the stealth mode is only a couple notches louder than the stealth mode stock, which was important to me because I don't want to be that neighbor that wakes everybody up every time he starts his car. And that's why I went with this exhaust system, because it still supported the valved exhaust. So that's a really good thing for those of you who care about the stealth mode. It still works, and it still works really well, but it's not going to be as quiet as it was, that's for sure. I'm rolling through KP right now. Oh my god, it sounds so good. What I love about an aftermarket exhaust is that you can feel when the car's throttle body opens, because you get that vibration from the engine, whereas with the stock exhaust, you don't always know when that happens, which makes the car smoother to drive because you know when it's giving itself gas and when it's not. So overall, I mean, this exhaust just improved this car by a long shot. I'm so happy with this exhaust. I'm happy with the price. I got the black tip version because one, it's the only one they had in stock, and two, the whole aesthetic of my car is black accents on a white car, so it kind of just adds to that whole goal that I'm going for. Yeah, I'm very glad I found this exhaust, because for the longest time I thought aftermarket axle backs that supported the NPP valves were either Corsa, which is like $2,500, or Borla, which is $22. Those are expensive systems. That's a lot of money for just an axle back. So that's what prevented me from getting an exhaust sooner on this car, is because of the price. But thanks to Stainlessworks being only $1,300 starting, and for the system I got with the black tips, it was like $1,600. I was able to finally get an exhaust in this thing like I've been wanting to for the year and a half that I've owned it. And I'm so glad I went with this one, because I've heard, you know, Borla, I've heard Corsa, and they don't sound different to the point where I'd be like, oh, I wish I got that one over the Stainlessworks. Like, the Stainlessworks red line version, which is what I have, is so aggressive, it sounds great. I'm glad I chose this over any other ones. Okay, so with the exhaust now in stealth mode, that way you guys can hear me, I want to say thank you for watching. This is probably the most fun thing I've done to this car thus far. I've wanted an exhaust for so long, but they've just been so out of reach because of how expensive they were. And this one was cheap enough for me to really just seal the deal and just go for it. There's a student driver coming through here right now doing a U-turn. And it's so crazy to think of how long it's been since I was a student driver. I'm only 24, but I mean, I learned to drive when I was 16, right? So that's 8 years ago now, which doesn't feel like it should be that long. But it's kind of crazy to watch our own evolution, right? One day we're just kids learning how to drive, and we have these goals and ambitions of driving these crazy cars. And then, you know, 5, 6, 7 years down the line, here we are, and we just have a whole different taste in cars. Most of us never got the cars we originally wanted because we realized we liked something better. Like, I used to be a WRX kid when I was younger and learning how to drive. I really wanted a Subaru. I thought they were like the coolest things ever. I thought they were way faster than they were. But now we've grown up, our priorities are different, our lives are different. It's a good idea to always take a second and reflect and see how much things have changed recently, whether it's just a month back or 10 years. The best way to predict how you'll be in the future is to see how you were in the past. Pretty sure there's a saying about the past being the best predictor of the future. Well, I think it's definitely true. I'm very active on my social media, so if you guys want, just give me a comment. If you want to hear how the car sounds under certain conditions, in certain areas, doing certain things with whatever it might be. I'd be more than happy to post a short video just to show you guys what the car would sound like under certain conditions if you're curious about getting the system yourself. Speaking of my social medias, I'm also very active on Instagram and TikTok. I post daily on both of those accounts, so make sure you're following me there. Usernames will be right there. Anyway, if you guys want your Clutch Killers merch, of course, you can go get that on my Teespring. Link is in the bio. You can get this shirt right here, which says Killers on the back. Personal favorite of mine. You can also get the hoodie I was wearing earlier in the video. We've got everything on there. We got face masks, t-shirts, hoodies. I should make pants. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Nick. I'm a little congested, and I'll see you in the next one.